It has been apparently confirmed that two S&S Axis coasters are currently being fabricated. Thanks to Coaster Studios, we already know that one of them is going to a park in Saudi Arabia, so that leaves us with the question, where is the other one going? I believe it was confirmed at some point that it is actually going to a park in Europe, but with that being said, there will definitely be some interest for this in the US. Well, we have some ideas on where this coaster would be a good fit, including some major parks here in America. So the Axis coaster is a concept that has been around for half a decade now, and S&S actually built a demonstration concept of the model out at their headquarters, and a few lucky enthusiasts have had the chance to ride it. It looks really cool, and of course features the signature S&S compressed air launch. Although I also believe they can build the model with a lift hill if that is what the park wants, and ever since then, we've been waiting for a park to buy one. This is a model with so much potential, with the ability for theming and interactiveness beyond even a normal spinning ride vehicle, because you can be either on top of or below the track whenever the layout necessitates it. But of course, it also has the potential to be a game changer as a thrill coaster, kind of like the Mach Extreme Spinner. Although that is interestingly a model that has also been somewhat slow to catch on, despite overwhelmingly positive reviews from both installations. First Time Traveler at Silver Dollar City, and then Ride to Happiness at Plopsaland. But we were all wondering, would there ever be an installation of the Axis model? The concept was around for like half a decade, and the fact that S&S built a working prototype of the model proved that it was a viable concept. But finally, we had a breakthrough. I'm not sure who first figured it out, but I saw in a Coaster Studios video that there was clearly an Axis ride vehicle and the concept art for a Saudi Arabian family entertainment center. So that was the destination for at least one installation. But a few weeks back, it broke that S&S was actually working on manufacturing two separate installations of this coaster, meaning that there is another one going to a different park. While we aren't exactly sure where it is going, I know some parks where this model would be a great fit in the future. The first of these is Dollywood. This is a park that has a really nice mix between thrill rides and family attractions, and it is one of the most visited regional parks in the United States. I think the Axis coaster could go to this park as either a Mystery Mine type attraction or a thrill attraction. I think that it could work as a themed, almost dark ride sort of coaster such as Mystery Mine because of how versatile the ride vehicle is. Or I think the park could build it as a thrill coaster. While that might be a little close to Wild Eagle in their lineup, given that it is an unconventional ride vehicle similar to Wild Eagle, Dollywood's lineup is pretty filled out and they can start to fill in some gaps around the edges. And again, with the ride vehicle's versatility, they could incorporate some awesome near misses with the terrain. Plus, Dollywood just bought a $25 million coaster from S&S's sister company, Vekoma, so there's definitely already a business relationship there. Also, I'm not exactly sure what the cost of an Axis coaster is, but even if it isn't cheap, Dollywood can afford it. Plus, Hershen's last thrill coaster was the prototype Mach Extreme Spinner, Time Traveler. Also, Dollywood's last thrill coaster was the first ever launched wooden coaster, Lightning Rod, so it is not unlike them to invest in a first of its kind attraction. I also think this is something we could see Six Flags take a look at. A park like Six Flags over Georgia that people are saying, this park needs a max force. Well, maybe they try to kill two birds with one stone and get two GP magnets in one, both with the Axis ride vehicle and the pneumatic launch all at once. Honestly, I could see this going to any Six Flags park with a launch or not. For example, if they were going to send one to one of the big three parks, Magic Mountain, Great America, or Great Adventure, those parks already feature some big launch coasters, so I'm guessing it would be the lift hill version. But this is also a concept that, depending on price, maybe Six Flags looks at sending to one of their lesser parks to really drive attendance, especially if it is a smaller park that doesn't yet have an S&S 4D free spin. And finally, the best fit for a thrill version of the Axis coaster, at least in the United States, would be King's Dominion. It just makes sense. They have two legendary defunct coasters with the launched Intamin inverted coaster, Volcano the Blast coaster, and they also have a defunct S&S air launch coaster with Hypersonic XLC. So it only makes sense for them to return to the park with another S&S air launch, but also with untraditional ride vehicles such as Volcano. Plus, this park's 50th anniversary is coming up in 2025, so I could see Cedar Fair giving them a large addition for their next coaster. By that point, it will have been 4 years since the addition of the S&S 4D free spin Tumbili, which came 4 years after the RMC hybrid conversion of Hurler to Twisted Timbers, so it would fit in line with the coaster clock that they seem to have right now as a mid-tier Cedar Fair park. Plus, this coaster would also be a great draw for King's Dominion as compared to Busch Gardens Williamsburg. That competition is what drives a lot of the additions to these two parks, and that was actually the reason for Intimidator 305 being an Intamin creation as opposed to a B&M. as Busch Gardens Williamsburg already had a B&M Hyper with Apollo's Chariot. So King's Dominion wanted to go a different route with their signature attraction, which is why they went with Intamin. In a similar fashion, I could see King's Dominion going with an Axis coaster as a way to really differentiate themselves from their closest competitor. To me, this just makes perfect sense, and I'd love to see Cedar Fair give S&S a shot with their newest model. So those are my thoughts on where the Axis coaster could go in the US. I'm not saying any of these parks are guaranteed to get one, but I think I've given some reasons on why it makes sense for them. Maybe this ends up being the next 4D free spin for S&S. Who knows? But I hope we get a view of these in America soon. It looks like it will be a fun and interesting attraction, and of course, is unlike anything we've ever seen before. Comment down below your thoughts on this model and where you see the Axis coaster going. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.